What's up, banana bunch? Bunch? Bunch?
Welcome to the Junglejims podcast. What's up, Banana Bunch? You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Junglejims podcast. I'm your host, Mark. Welcome to the show. As always, got a fun one for you this week. We're talking produce with Nature Fresh. They're coming to us out of Canada, and I got a little surprise. Our fearless leader, Jungle Jim himself, will be joining us on the show. It's a really fun one, and it's always great when Jungle gets up there. A few things before we start. You know the drill if you've been listening for a while. First off, join us on YouTube. It's really fun to see the products we're doing. You know, like you can actually see what I'm doing. I mean, I'm here with a bunch of delicious produce from Nature Fresh on the table, and I can tell you that this heirloom tomato looks great, but wouldn't you want to see it? Wouldn't you want to put your head up the cow's butt, to quote Tommy Boy? And I guess I didn't fully quote it, but I know that they'll restrict me on the algorithm if I say the real word with a real word within the first 5 minutes. But no, well, I guess I'm not kidding, but seriously, follow us on YouTube, watch along. You can put it on the background. That's cool. And then when you want, you can just go be like, wait, what did he? Oh, okay, cool. Great. And then I can go back to not, kind of background noising it. I love it. That's what podcasts are for. You just want someone familiar to drone, and I can do that for you. Download the Junglejims app. Every week we've got access to the ad. You can see the ad early. You can get app exclusive deals. We have all kinds of discounts and stuff, and you'll start seeing them around the stores even more frequently. And the only way to get those extra deals is to have the app so they can scan the barcode at checkout. Pretty cool. There's an item search on there. There's an price scanner on there, so you can actually find the price of an item if you can't find the actual price in store. A lot of great features. You can see the 5 most recent episodes of the Junglejims podcast, which is always fun. Another easy way to jump in there and watch along. That's great. And I've also been trying to remember to remind you all, on Thursday nights, we open the Oscar Station here at the Fairfield Junglejims location. I know we do pint nights at both stores all the time, but the Oscar Station is kind of special in that it is a bourbon-focused bar. Not to say that there's not other drinks and things like that, but that's the big one. I always love bringing up. The Jungle has an old dry cleaner rack that still works. It's motorized, and that's how they switch the bottles out. It's really cool to watch. Don't push the button. They'll push it for you, but if you ask them real nice, they will show it how it works. It's great. I love going over there. Gary and his team, they've picked out a bunch of excellent cigars, so you can find all kinds of new cigars if you're into that, because the space it's mixed area. So you've got some areas that are completely enclosed, and you have others that are open to outside so that they can have smoking or cigar smoking for these nights. Chef Mike and Amanda out of the Event Center Kitchen, they are cranking out all kinds of cool dishes. There's fun food. The menu changes pretty often. I think I've mentioned this before, but I try to go once a month just to see what's going on. Chef Mike's killing it right now. It's a really good time. Check it out. It opens at 4 o'clock on Thursdays. You can go over there and dive in. Now, speaking of diving in, I want to go through some of these beautiful things I've got here from our guests today, because when we came in, we were like, well, let's just dive right into the interview. And I was like, okay, well, here's what we can do. We can show off some delicious products. So this is a joke that'll come into later. If you also have a pepper pocket, which you'll find out about on the show, check out how lovely these are. Seriously. So these are the mini sweet peppers from Nature Fresh Farms. These are all greenhouse grow, and I'll let them explain a little bit more, but it's a more farming of the future. But look how, and it may be hard to see, but this is a beautiful red pepper. It's just the skin smooth. It's got a great texture to it. A little meaty. They come in all these different flavors, and they've got that nice sweet pepper aroma. Exactly what you're kind of looking for in this regard, and all kinds of different colors. Let's get a nice orange one too. Yeah, I love that. Kind of looks like a carrot at a distance. Sweet and crispy, and they've got the French translation on there too, because we love Canada. Let's go through. I have some of their on the vine tomatoes. Again, one of those things where I'm just, if you're listening only in the car, that's cool, but you can't see how nice these look. And I'm just going to sit here, wow, they look really nice. That's so crazy. It's a red tomato hue. It looks kind of reddish orange. And you'll be like, yeah, tomato. I'm like, but what's so great about seeing a lot of these is that they're picturesque. I'm trying to make sure I don't rip them off the vine. But they're so picturesque that it's almost like cartoony in their quality. Look at this big bell pepper. Oh my gosh. I want to cut it in half and see if the inside looks like Sylvester Stallone screaming. If you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what the inside of peppers look like. Now I've got it in red. I've got this nice yellow one. Oh, I've got an orange one holding up the stacks back there. My friends over at Cincy Scoop the other day were posting about this. It's never too early at Jungle Gyms for a lot of these products. Well, maybe sometimes, but right now we've got heirloom tomatoes in, and these come from Nature Fresh that are growing them in their farms of the future. This is really cool. The shape of the heirloom tomatoes is always funny to me, but this one's great. I'm curious because it's always like a reddish brown. Not always, but they come in variants of colors. But the reddish brown ones always seem to have like the best, like, I don't like a super wet tomato. I like, if I'm going to eat a tomato, I want it to be as dry as possible. I think it was George Carlin who was like, on the outside, it's beautiful, this reddish fruit, but then you cut it open and something has gone horribly wrong. And he's right. I 100% agree with that. They're often too wet for me. But what I like about the heirloom, they always seem to retain some of that juiciness in the proverbial meat of the tomato. They're so good. If you haven't tried them, like Nature Fresh is a great one. We carry a ton here. Another classic tomato. And then, in the other boxed ones they brought here, these are cute. I like these little cherry tomatoes. They call them hombres. But again, just a really nice, again, I'm sitting here going like, wow. It's dumb, right? Because I didn't come from a produce background, but you see these things and you just see how perfect they look and how, I hate to say it, but picturesque. And again, I've mentioned before that almost like it's like cartoon food or video game food. And while you're watching, do you have a video game that has really good food? Let me know. That's something I've been working on for a while. I think I want to make something. Look at these like little orange ones. We love a little cherry or grape tomato. Let's see what we got here up next. Okay, so we got slightly larger ones. So the hombres, these are the little guys. We've got the dramas. And these are also red cherry tomatoes. And I think these are just the red ones. Whereas the hombres, they're about the same size, but the hombres have more color options there. But again, picturesque cartoon, like an artist drew it. And then last here on the table, this is probably the most fun, especially because I know a lot of you are foodies out there. I know a lot of you like to cook at home. I do too, but I usually get home too late on the weekdays, and then I'm like, I'm not doing that. Taste, timeless tradition. This is their saucy line. So what these are sweet Roma tomatoes. So you can see they got a slightly different shape. Also on the vine, they're like the little, I call them the vertical tomatoes, which is maybe dumb because Roma's better of a name. But it paints a picture, right? Like, so for those of you watching, these are more elongated, less, what am I trying to say? Not elliptical, but less spherical. Again, using this to make, if you're making good tomato sauce, this is the move. You want to get some of these too. So you can get all of this and way more from Nature Fresh right here at Jungle Gyms. But I'm sure you're saying the same thing that I'm saying, which is, why is Mark yapping about it so much? Why don't we get right to the interview? So why don't we do that? Let's meet Nature Fresh. All right, everybody, let's jump right in. It's interview, it's hang on time. First off, a man who clearly needs no introduction. Jungle, welcome back, baby. It's always good to see you.
Yeah, that's nice to be back.
Yeah, we love having you down here. Thank you.
It's like
truly.
It's in the same store. It's not like, we're 5 miles away, 10 miles away. Yeah, welcome to.
Right.
I'll be right in front of the store.
Jungle's coming live from Antarctica.
I haven't been in here for a while. You haven't screwed it up too bad.
First time for everything.
I know, but I'm looking around. It looks nice, and it's clean, organized. No,
Thank you.
Take that back.
It's a little.
Your guitars are up there, but
the samples. Look, you think your samples offering?
What the hell's that costume up there? What is that?
Oh, my bug suit. That's just my cicada costume. Yeah, Jungle. We gotta. I'll pitch this now.
It wouldn't surprise me if you would have walked in with that.
No. I was trying to play in the clean today. I was trying to play it clean.
I just keep thinking I want to get I keep thinking I should put it in the bug candy area and put it like in a case so we could put the suit on display. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah,
I thought you might like that.
But then you won't be able to play with it.
Well, maybe maybe we put a key. I can get it if need be, and people will be like, "Oh my god!"
Let's get down to serious business.
Yes.
Who is this guy? Who is this
We're
guy?
already too late.
Who is this guy?
Matt, why don't you tell us who you came? You crossed country lines to be on this show today.
From the 51st state.
America's hat.
Right. Yeah, we won't have to worry about that.
That's right.
We're all Americans.
We're almost local anymore. No. Yeah, Matt Quaring. Pleasure to be here. I was just telling AJ actually as we were walking in, I had the honor of opening up the Jungle Gyms account with Nature Fresh, I think close to 10, 11 years ago. So, time flies. And what you're doing with this place, like I've been here multiple times throughout the last 10 years, and it's always changing. There's always something new going on. But
you have to do it. Just like some people tell me, it's like Kings Island.
Yeah.
Every year you got to come up with a new ride. We're in the entertainment business. Right. I get some people from Chicago over here in the grocery business, and they talk about competition between, Walmart and this and that and all these different places. I said, I'll tell you the truth. I hate to say this. I said, my biggest competition
Six Flags?
is the weather. Well, I'm serious.
No?
A nice, like right now,
Yeah.
nice rainy day, a light drizzle, not heavy now. Now, snow cuts us out. Because people travel so far to get here. I'm serious. Snow closes this down. Nice, cool drizzle, nothing where the people get out of their car and have to get drenched,
Right.
Busy, the place is loaded. Why? Because the people get up and they go, well, can't play soccer. I'm not going to work in the yard.
Yeah.
Honey, what do you want to do? Let's take a ride to that crazy grocery store, an hour and a half away, and we'll walk around there for a couple hours, have a beer, pick up a couple things, and we'll come back, grab something, and come home. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean,
It's an event.
I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad.
I think
But
it's
that's
good.
what we have.
It feels fun at least.
Oh no, I mean, you're right.
I tell you, I go through a lot of grocery stores across the country. I've been in some in Europe. Nothing like this at
Well,
all.
that's good. You know what? That's good because it keeps me alive.
Yeah.
Because you could be one. Now if there was a bunch of stores doing what we do, and then
When you're not unique, you don't stand
we
out.
wouldn't be doing the juice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But because a good example, you know what a good example of Junglejims is?
Yeah.
Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. Who in the hell thought you would make a fun trip out of gasoline? Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That'd be like having a car wash where people are lined up because they can go out of their way to get a car. It's amazing.
Oh, it's so true.
I passed one and the traffic's already. I go, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Forget the gas. I said, a lot cheaper? I don't think so.
No.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
The experience of going, can you imagine? I mean, I shouldn't talk because they do the same thing here.
Yeah.
Would I travel 5 miles out of my way to go get gas? 5 miles out of my way, 5 back, 10. No.
All right. But some people love that. You want to be part of the action.
Yeah,
100%.
right.
Yeah.
Just like on Saturday. Who in their right mind want to come and shop here? I mean, who?
They're going to love
It's
that clip.
who? It's bumper to bumper. You
Right.
can't move. But certain people like that shit.
Yeah.
It's like you ride down a restaurant, you're riding down the street, you see a line wrapped around. You know what they say? Screw that. I ain't going in
I'll
there.
come back tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, let's
There's
come back.
there's a sucker everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
and everybody go, oh man, let's go. And they get in line. I mean, excuse me, how long do we have? Hour and a half. Oh, that's fine.
No, but you know what?
Yeah.
I think that's just a testament to the experience that you deliver, right? And it's to me, I think that's what it's all about. It's a marketing experience. People love it. I got 3 kids, so I know if I brought them through here, we'd be coming back every
same
other
wife?
week. Same wife, yeah.
3 kids, same
3
wife?
kids, same wife.
How long you been married?
7 years.
Oh, hell, you're green. Shit. How'd you have 7 and 3?
I'm quick.
Whew.
A lot of practice.
you know what?
She must like me, I guess.
was looking, I was going 2, 2, 2. Man, that was quick.
The productive house.
Hey, when I'm not traveling, we stay busy at home.
Life on the road, baby.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know we're having fun, obviously, but we should talk a little bit about why you're here.
Yeah.
So, I name everybody the king of whatever topic, but really, you have your fingers all over the produce game. Clean fingers.
Yeah. No, we're a grower. We grow tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, strawberries, all indoors. So think about traditional field farming. Everything we do is completely inside. So we try to take, as your worst enemy is their biggest competition, the weather, we try to take that out of the equation. So we're growing with lights in the middle of December when it's 30 degrees outside. We got tomatoes flourishing in the greenhouse. And that allows us to do things a little bit more consistently. So back in the day, AJ was talking about when we were walking outside through the garden center's Amish season. And back in the day, you'd have a tomato season. Today, we can extend that 52 weeks. So,
How quickly have you seen that shift move? Because I know, Jungle, you and I have talked a lot about produce on the show and how things have changed over the years. So I'm imagining now, I'm at that right age where I feel like I should have been aware of it being a little more scarce in my youth, but now I feel like everything's available to me all the time. I could be a little spoiled because I'm here at Junglejims, but is that
Not only spoil, not only get your hands on it,
yeah,
but the flavor's there too.
yeah,
The flavors there. That's I remember wintertime was
Iffy.
I remember when corn, if it wasn't local, wasn't any good. All the shipped in corn tasted after 2 days tasted like starch.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden they come up with a summer sweet seed.
Yeah.
And a lot of farmers fought it, summer seeds, because they don't want to change, blah, blah, blah. Then everybody went to it. I'll tell you, you get fresh corn in the wintertime, it's damn good.
Right.
The fact that the corn in the wintertime beats your 4th of July with the corn around local where they rush,
Right.
because they want to beat the market, and the things are this big, they're not even filled out. But you can't tell anybody that.
Right.
But,
No, we spend a lot of time in that too. Like actually in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be in Europe, and we travel all across the Netherlands, which is where kind of like the hub is for greenhouse.
Oh, okay.
And we're seeking out the newest flavors, tastes, shapes, sizes, colors, textures, all across the entire, basically the globe. But it's all hubbed out in the Netherlands. Number one, one of the smallest countries in the world, number one food exporter in the globe, I think. So they know their food.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so that actually just brings me to another thought, which is everything, I feel like growing up was obviously a lot of region specific products, right? You think about tropical fruits, for example, but I'm imagining now, because of the way you're growing the food, I imagine you can do anything from like, all right, we want soil from this place, right? We want it lit like this. It needs all these things. I mean, do you have that much granular control over what you're making?
Yeah, I mean, funny story actually. So there's a new lighting company, artificial lights, so like LEDs. They can change the spectrum of the light depending on the type of crop you're growing. So how this kind of, it's a wild story. You'll like this, jungle guy. There's
I won't.
You might. There's a penguin habitat up in northern Quebec, and they found out these penguins weren't swimming, and they seemed like they're very unsatisfied essentially.
Yeah.
So they figure out that the light that they were dealing with up there wasn't conducive to delivering a good experience for the penguins. So the penguins are all doom and gloom. They changed these light
maybe I should
spectrums.
get a light from my bedroom.
John's been in a great mood this week.
It sounds good. Keep on going. That's not.
So they
seems
got-
like something I have. But
I'll connect you with
Solom.
Solom.
Cold weather.
Need some sand in there too.
Yeah, I mean, what is
So these guys realize that there's a different light spectrum that makes penguins happy, and they change the light spectrum. Next thing you know, the penguins are splashing and diving and jumping all over the place.
That's
So
unbelievable.
they figured, okay, hey, if this can be for plants or for animals, why not try and work it for plants? So now we can be in, Valencia, Spain, or take the lighting from Valencia, Spain, put that into our greenhouse in Leamington, Ontario, and next thing you know, you can grow a crop of citrus or whatever else grows in other parts of the world. So
how long did you study that light?
I didn't study anything. We lean into the experts. So I am definitely pushing that over to my expert team. But
You got a few guys that are experts.
Yeah.
Good.
So
See
we're
what you could do in here.
all right. We'll bring them down.
Yeah, I don't need happy light. He's goofier and shit. I don't need happy life. All right, give me some light that maybe quiet him down a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
like that.
I think I'm
So
growing
the opposite
enough.
of the penguins.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Give them the original penguin
Like the
habitat.
penguins. I want to see them walk around there happy.
Mark's in a tuxedo in the
I
pool.
knew this was going to be good. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I get too
That's
close?
all right.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially, yeah, you can with the beauty of indoors, you can actually take the soil, the feed. If you want, we notice one thing: if you grow tomatoes in the Mediterranean, have this crazy taste. So what we did was we injected in sea salts into our plant nutrients. So next thing you know, you have a little bit more of a plant, like a sea salt type taste to it. So just flavor enhancement, right? Different
They're going
things
to
you
do that
learn.
to me as well, Jungle.
I remember
Sea salts.
I remember getting tomatoes a long time ago out of Tennessee. There was a
Granger
certain
County,
part of
probably, right?
Tennessee that was, and I remember he used to go to old boy. He would bring them up in bushels.
Sure.
Bring them up here, and man, they had the best flavor. I don't know where the hell. So soil's it.
There's soil. There's variety. Variety's a big piece of it, and I think that's one of the challenges. Is like it's this constant battle between high yield that drives cheap prices,
There
right?
you go.
Right.
And
There you
frankly
go.
shitty experience.
And that is a
And
problem.
then so you commercialize something to the point that you basically break it. And that's kind of where we're at with our programs right now. I don't know if you tried the Heroes tomatoes or not, but I'm telling you, those are some fantastic tomatoes. We have those. I think we sell them to you guys. Sweet snap peppers. That's a pepper with some serious taste to it.
Yep.
We're out there seeking out what's next, what's new, what's innovative, what's exciting for the category. Try and drive better consumption in. That experience, that moment that you remember, we want that.
What? It's the same old thing. It's like you could have all the, like we do here, all the pizzazz, this and that. But when they take that product home, it's got to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
The kid, they're not going to say, gee, I threw that steak away. It was for shit. But boy, I had a good time over there. I spent 2 hours and $150 and half of the crap I threw away. But boy, I had a good time.
Right.
You know
I think they're going to come back.
You know what he's talking about when he comes with flavor? You know what he's talking about?
As far as like
the difference between marketing cheap and selling it versus flavor.
right.
Long time ago, we used to get nothing but crimson watermelons. Nice big striped watermelons, sweet this and that. But apparently they came up with a seed that grows faster, they have more turns, but it tastes
Flavorless.
flavorless.
Right.
But I mean, the marketing was great. The farmers was happy, but the consumer and some of the people that didn't know the difference, they would look, oh, this is really good. Well, you don't know what the old watermelons used to taste like.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that's some of the stuff you
Absolutely.
fight. The quick turn, no flavor versus slower turn, high flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's constant balance between getting the best product quality, taste, eating experience, as well as a cost-effective price point, right? And I think the other thing is, like you mentioned too earlier, you used to be able to have only seasonal offerings. Now all of a sudden you have the opportunity to buy anything, anytime,
Right.
anywhere.
I had an incredible pineapple in January. That was not how I remember it being when I was young.
But that's because also the supply chain has been built for shippability or, longer shelf life. And, the way that it always is described to me, you have a glass of water, okay? And there's, I don't know if you play like NHL or different football, NFL sports games growing up. You can only fill so much attributes or water within this glass.
Right.
Just like a tomato, you can only put so much water or attributes into that tomato. You can put production, you can put shelf life, you can put disease resistancies, you can put flavor, all kinds of different attributes, but you can't put 100% of everything because the glass is only so big. Sure. The tomato is only allowed for so much. So what our key is, what we're trying to look for is a bigger glass, right? We're trying to find an opportunity to build more attributes of flavor as well as shelf life, as well as disease packages and all the other stuff. So that's kind of like our goal of when we're looking out for new and exciting varieties. Where's the bigger glass?
And how much of that is just you determining that through like taste? Is that most of this?
It's a good chunk of it. I mean, we have a seed team, and we kind of know what we're looking for in the varieties. We know roughly what the consumer's preference is going to be. But now moving into this next phase of our growth, what we're going to be doing is like you said, you start from the grower and move it into the consumer. That's the wrong way to do it. We want to start at the consumer. What do you want? And then move it backwards. So maybe, for an example, we find out that Jungle cooks Roma tomatoes into a sauce. Well, maybe we got to develop a tomato that has no skin and no seeds in it, and you literally boil it down and it turns into sauce.
Oh, wow.
Save the consumer time, effort, stuff like that.
Scary.
So
It's scary
It is a
what
little
they're-
scary.
it's
Yeah.
possible.
They're starting to do, huh?
Yeah,
It's
get
crazy.
wild with it. I like anything, I try to look at the pros and the cons there, where it's like, yeah, there's a little bit of, for me, I'm like, what does this mean for the long term of the product? But at the same time, as somebody that doesn't have a ton of free time, it definitely appeals to me to have, those few
Simpler
minutes
experience.
of prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I love that. But then sometimes when I get home at like 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, I'm not peeling tomatoes.
Yeah, I know,
I'm
exactly.
not. Who am I?
But if you think about relate it to what you all know here, right? Like you're trying to create an experience for the shopper that is unlike any other. That's the same thing we're doing. We're just trying to do it with our product.
Absolutely.
And hopefully if everybody has that mindset of let's deliver the best experience possible, we can create more consumption, drive our businesses forward, and make people happy.
Well, as long as your product is labeled, as long as you have a sticker on it, I think myself flavor, man, in the long run, you're gonna keep them, and they're gonna keep on coming back like crazy if you do flavor.
Yeah.
I mean, look at those stupid grapes you buy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, we used to be constantly fighting this baloney where you have changed the season between California and Yeah.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, they would switch over, and it was always, how are they selling grapes for 99 cents? Well, they're selling the old out. It was always price.
Right.
Well, he came up with this grape that looked like plums.
Yeah.
People come from all over just to get those grapes.
Yeah.
What's the variety?
It's the Autumn Crisp, isn't it?
No, those are killer. Yeah.
They are killer.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. Thank you. AJ's off camera right now feeding us information. I love those grapes so much. That was great. I learned so much about it. I didn't even know.
Well, like think about that. Like also the sumo citrus, right? That's another great example, right? Like you don't find an eating experience like that with the common
I'm
produce.
just saying, when you get to that point, your product, as long as it's labeled,
Yeah.
it's like those stupid eggs.
Yeah.
How do you label B? What B?
Oh, yeah, like grade.
What are
Yeah, all
those?
the different
Yeah,
grades.
they labeled eggs. I think it's the same damn egg. They run it through a little machine and it presses, and right away
Right.
it's something different. Oh, I gotta have one of them.
Yeah.
As long as you take and label your stuff, if it's superior, and these people bite into it, I mean,
Yeah.
they're not stupid. They'll go back and they'll say, you know, that tomato was fantastic. The flavor. Make sure you go back. I don't want to go in Jungle Gyms. It takes 2 hours. Tough shit. I want you to get my tomatoes.
I'm coming in on Saturday.
You know what I mean? I mean, really.
No, you make a great point because with the grape, going back to the
But
grape
it-
thing, I
but it
know a
has to
strain
be
name.
Hugely, I mean, it's got to be definite. In other words, not in us. What'd you think? Well, I thought it was okay. No, mine. This is it's great.
Yeah.
And they'll go for it. They'll travel for it.
Yeah.
It's-
I mean, I never thought I would be somebody thinking about a specific strain of grape. But now when I buy, I think about those ones that he brought
my
in. I'm
God,
just
I
like, that's
mean, they're
crazy.
like-
Yeah.
It
They're
makes a
huge,
difference.
They're flavorful. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if you look at the produce in specific in general, I think most people don't think of certain brands, but it's starting to get more familiar, more aware. You think about these jumbo blueberries, right? These things the size of, I'm going to say a loony, but you don't know what a loony is because
I know
you're
what
not.
a loony is.
Yeah.
We got a bunch
He
of
hired a
your
bunch of
work-
us. And we know loonies and
I know what
toonies.
a
Okay, you got
Yeah, we're
size of a
worldly.
loony, we'll say. Okay. This is your 51st State comment again. No, so these things are driving more consumption, right? They eat better. So I think there's the next wave of within produce is probably going to be a little bit more branded specific, more identification for the shoppers about what's good and what's not, right? And I think speaking of what you guys do, you're going to bring in only the best. That's why we're here, right?
Yes, of course. This is the best show in the world if you haven't watched yet. You know, you bring that up. One of the things, so I thought two things immediately. I was like, now are we going to start seeing tiered packaging, right? Where you're like, this is our best shit. This is good and a little lower price. And then here's kind of like another, you know what I mean? To get, again, on the educating
Help people on the
consumers.
journey, right?
Well, because because these days I know cost is obviously a huge driver too, but I think Jungles makes the best point. It's like flavor is always going to be number one. I imagine in the hierarchy of what I'm buying, it's probably like flavor, cost. So I imagine seeing that. And it made me think, now that you've taken something out of the equation like weather, what are the challenges that you all are seeing in this space now?
Disease, that's a big one. We're constantly shuffling through that. There's pest challenges.
Even in a controlled space.
Oh yeah. I mean,
does the government bother you big time over there? Like over here, there's so many regulations. They come out with a disease or something.
Like a noose around the neck.
And all of a sudden somebody comes out and says you can't use it. The next spray available does about 20% of that other one, but they can't use it.
Right.
I mean, you get a lot of that over there. We get it over here.
They got their hands in everything, right?
I know. It's just,
So I mean, it's labor's a challenge. I mean, that's the reality.
Mm-hmm.
We have a farm in Ohio as well, and up in just by Toledo actually.
Okay.
So we grow 90 acres there. A different country, different rules, right? So there's some struggles with that, but
who's easier? Yeah, Brad, come on.
I would quite honestly.
One or which one's easier?
Right now, Ontario is easier. The industry's there, right?
Yeah.
So whereas with Ohio, we have an industry that was kind of put into an area that wasn't common. So, but quite honestly, both countries produce great fruit, great crop. You could go from an eating experience standpoint, no difference, right? It's basically cookie cutter from what we do in Leamington. It's just the programs are a little bit more established within Canada.
It's like how much red tape you have to dive through, probably to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just the industry's more mature up there, right?
Sure.
So we're seeing more expansion within greenhouses within the U.S. right now. So I think that's going to change over time too.
Do you think this will be something where, because I obviously spend a lot of time reading about things like automation. I mean, are robotics going to start playing a factor in this?
100%. Yeah, no, we have robotic harvesters that we're trialing in a greenhouse. These things, they basically suck the tomato right off the plant. So it's like a vacuum.
The after-hours show, please.
It's a little vacuum, and it basically has like a suction cup on it, and it just ever so lightly pulls it off the plant and then into the harvesting tray. It's unbelievable. All of our packing machines are fully automated. The tomatoes go in and basically go into a hopper. They dump in. We have carts that go to and from. RFID sensors in the ground to and from the harvesting area right into the pack house. It's unbelievable. It's like you're walking into a space station in some of these places.
Bet.
Clean is like the floor is so clean you can eat off it. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Challenge accepted.
Come on down.
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
actually. That'd be really
seriously,
cool.
both of you. We have a farm not far from here. It's about 2.5 hours, I'd say.
No kidding.
Come see us.
Oh, all right, Jungle. We're hopping in the banana.
We'll feed you some of the best tasting strawberries you ever eat in December out of Ohio.
Okay.
Not that that's hard, but
we'll
say out of the U.S.
Yeah, I love it.
In the middle of Ohio, dead of winter.
That's awesome. I would love to try that.
It's amazing. I'm not a farmer, but I have a little garden, real small.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody else has a garden.
Very
true.
Tried that, didn't work.
Stuff, and I'm looking at it and go, you don't have a really appreciation of when you open up a box here and everything is just the same.
Uniform.
You just don't appreciate that.
Right.
Because, I mean, I grow stuff. My stuff is so weird looking. If I get anything close to looking like a tomato, I'm happy. I mean,
this is music to my ears because it's job security.
I mean, I'm going, how in the hell do these guys do it?
Yeah.
And then the consumer and us and the buyer, the produce buyer, look at it. I used to be a produce buyer. It's like, oh, is there a blemish on this? Oh, a little scratch here. No, I don't want.
Yeah.
I mean, not to toot his horn over here, but look at these things. You sure these are real?
Black bullets.
You sure these are real? Look, it looks like these are manufactured out of plastic. Look, everyone's the same. How in the hell do you do that?
So this is the
I always
beauty
forget
of greenhouse
about your pepper
grown.
pocket.
Yeah, I need my pepper pocket, but I just grabbed those.
They're beautiful.
I was going to grab some of his tomatoes, but I didn't. I mean, they're perfect. I mean, it's like, look at
and
this.
they look
Everyone's like this.
They're twins or
How
triplets.
How do you do that? How do you do that, everyone?
Controlled environment. You got all the right inputs in, you get the right input out, right? Or the right output out.
See, talking along the same lines, the reason I'm not much of a gardener, it's mostly just herbs now in the garden because those
grow themselves. They're like weeds.
Yeah, for real. And every time I try to grow something like a fruit or a vegetable, it always comes out, and I'm like, "What did I plant?" Because that doesn't look familiar.
Like I said, music to my ears because this is job security.
Right.
It keeps us in business when people can't grow good fruit.
It's just amazing to me.
It is. It's so beautiful.
Everyone's the same size. It's all the same size.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you imagine that?
Well,
Back to
that's
the
his business.
Well, right. Yeah, no, I'm just, and it's got to be, I mean, I know it's probably, you not take it for granted, but, you've seen it so much at this point, so I'm sure you're like, that's just how it is. But I imagine it's still occasionally got to wow you a little bit.
Listen, I think for us, why we wake up in the morning, it's purpose, right? I think probably everybody here has their own purpose, right? Like your purpose is probably to delight and excite people, I would assume, or something along those lines. Like you do that to me.
Just confusion around it. That's what my kid says.
It's controlled confusion.
Right.
There's a method to the madness.
But no, it's yeah. I think we kind of take it for granted how nice things are because we see it every day. But I think in the end, if you really scale it all back, what we like to say is we're in the health business, right? Like we're producing healthy food that helps a healthier generation and gets people excited about feeding their family healthy stuff. So no, it's a good business to be a part of because we're not selling cigarettes to kids, for example, or stuff like that. So,
well, that killed this episode's sponsor. Brought to you by.
But you know what? I got to get out of here. But you know what I want to say? He's talking about his marketing and all the stuff he does, and on, and and then I'm talking about a marketing strategy that we entertain the people on and on. So I'm like stroking myself. He's stroking himself. You know who the winner is here? This son of a bitch right here. This son of a bitch. They take water and stick it in the damn can, and we got skids of it, and we're selling it.
And people love it.
That's the winner right there.
I know.
Screw me.
Well, listen,
Look at that.
we're going to get jungle cans
No,
or
but
something.
I'm just saying. I mean, the guy turns around, puts water in a damn can,
Crazy, isn't
and
it?
people are buying it.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe
he started-
the next big thing is tomatoes in a can.
yeah, tomatoes in a can.
I got some the old tennis ball containers. Will be
Actually, I
perfect.
think that's invented. It's canned tomatoes. It's not good. That's not what we want to do.
And he started out with just plain water, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't
Yep.
follow this shit, but then
No, yeah, it was just plain. Then they added
and then he
sparkling.
started with the flavors, but he just came out
Yeah.
with water in a damn can.
What's even funnier, Jungle? I found this out when I had them on the show a while back. They didn't even have a product at first. They were just pictures. They were like, wouldn't this sell with this logo? And everyone's like, yeah, well, I want to try it. And then they saw the demand was so huge for water in a can.
Isn't that amazing?
Sometimes
It
we're in
does
the wrong
taste
industry.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's oddly refreshing.
No, but this is a sparkling one. I think it's better than Perrier. My opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, but when they started, they just had water.
right. They just had
Correct
still.
me if I'm wrong.
No,
right?
no, you're correct. At least as far as
Then
I know.
they added
Yeah.
flavors and
Yep.
sparkling and all that. When
And
they
now they've
just
got
came in-
teas out. They've got all kinds of shit. It's
They're
crazy.
selling kegs. I see. I saw a commercial the other day. There's pregnant women drinking kegs of water.
Amazing.
At the bar. So
That's
phenomenal
so
marketing again, right?
I always laugh because something about these. I think they were trying to hit some of the beer branding, but for me, they always look like especially the white cans look like cigarettes for some reason to me. And I'm like, this makes sense in a bar, you know? It's crazy.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed
Well,
it.
you know, you created the. I mean, honestly, this does kind of tie back in, right? They wanted a little bit of this like fun, kind of
100%.
like hard rock, heavy metal branding, and people want the experience. And then that creates clout. And I think we're finding that with a lot of these products now, where like if they're also making something good, right? I remember when this first came out, I didn't want to try it because I'd had canned water before. It tasted like I was drinking out of a well, and not in the good way, right? I was like, this tastes like shit. I don't want this. And their biggest feat to me is just making a water that tastes like water. As silly as that sounds.
I think what these guys did right, and you talked about it too, is they figured out their path and they've stuck to it,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
you
now
know,
they're
they're
giving away-
owning it. They've
Yeah.
owned it right now. So think about your path, what you've taken. You don't have to compete with the other big box stores or anything else around because you've got your own experience here. That's
Yeah,
what we're
that's what
trying
we
to
do.
create within ours, and that's what they've created here with this canned water. So I mean,
Yep.
lesson
Yeah,
for
thank
all:
God that
find
we
a
do.
path and stick to it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's scary out there the way things are changing in the market. Man.
Yeah.
All the more reason to bring in the best fruit, the best produce, the best taste that you can find. Right?
Have 100%. Yeah, we got to differentiate ourselves that way. Yeah,
Keep it weird. Keep it unique.
There we go.
Weird and keep it unique.
Yeah, love it. Thanks for coming down, Jungle.
Have you? You know, yesterday this how. Here I am. Tech.
I'm like, wait, oh, it's the phone. I was like, which produce is coming out?
Is this a flip phone?
Flip phone, yeah.
Still got one of those.
Yeah, and it has nothing on it either. It does nothing. All it does is make phone calls. People. Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't even have a computer.
You don't have an iPhone.
No, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I probably own 150 computers in both stores, all the upstairs.
So it's not ChatGPT coming up with all these
I don't have
ideas, or
anything.
what?
Nobody gets hold of me. It's just a regular phone. That's it.
I really think, though,
And I don't own a computer. I never had one on.
I think it's for the best. Look, I mean, as somebody who has to use one often, I get it. But I do think there's something to this. And I was talking to someone about this in regards to you the other day. I was like, I think that's why he's still so endlessly creative, because all of us in these generations, we're like
Have a crutch.
stuck on it. Yeah. And so there are those times. Yeah, I tried not to use AI for that stuff. I have a very bad sense of humor. So I'm always like, how can I make the robots be evil?
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm sitting here thinking like, you're so endlessly creative, Jungle. And I think it's because you don't have anything influencing you in like a frustrating way like so
Instead
many
of
of us
creative,
do.
I think it's survival.
A little bit, maybe a little bit of both.
Put a little
you know?
sprinkle of that.
Just a little season. Yeah.
People, hey, when your back's in the corner, you fight, man.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
it's survival. We have all this happening. We got to constantly create new rides, make people have a better experience when they come here, and on and on and on. And I'm glad we're like this.
Yeah. Me
I'm
too.
glad. And it was a lot of people look at me and say, marketing, shit, that marketing. There's no marketing. It was me personally. When I started, I always wanted a new challenge. Turn around the corner. What's this? I didn't want to sell Clorox and Tide.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
how much fun is that?
Yeah.
That's
A necessary evil, right?
Well, so I constantly went in different directions, constantly screwing up different directions. And what happened was in making it fun, because I like building crazy stuff, and knock on wood, we're one of the very few in this country that entertain people.
Yeah.
Bucky does.
Yep.
We do in the food business.
Yep.
And thank God, because it's dangerous out there, man, with everybody delivering and all this IT stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
they're tracking you, and, you want to eat this, and they zoom right in on you. So,
Right.
I mean, we can't do any of that. We don't have. When I started out, if somebody would have told me at this age, my deal here, that what's your number one competitor? If somebody would have said to me, IT,
Right. Yeah.
that's big.
Right.
IT's big.
Yeah.
Because I have to have the same protection for 2 stores as if you have 15 or 20. I need the same protection, the same everything. We run this on 2 stores.
Yeah.
So the expense is huge.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just, I never thought of it.
No. And it's a constantly evolving, too. So I imagine in 5 years, it's going to be a totally different
And
answer
you have
again.
to pay big money
Yeah.
for help, these
Yep.
people, because they can go anywhere and get a job. And, it's like, it's a big deal for 2 stores.
It's a crazy world.
If you had 10 stores, I probably only have to hire one more IT person.
Really? Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a similar thing for us. Like when we look at building greenhouses, to build a 5-acre greenhouse or a 30-acre greenhouse, you need 1 grower, right? So your overhead stays. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Smart.
For sure.
That's what I'm saying.
That's really interesting.
There's economies of scale, that's for sure. And I don't know, but the bigger you get, the harder it is too, right? So
Yeah. And we're all about people, too.
yeah.
And, finding crazy people and good people.
Yeah.
Because everything doesn't come from the top like this big, corporate, everything's decided up here and it goes down and
Right.
you follow, get up in the morning, put this in there and this in there, see you later.
Yeah.
We rely on people to think, use what's between their ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good and bad. It's
Depends
good
on the
and bad.
person, right?
It has its good points, but
With
has
you, it
its bad
seems to have
points.
been good.
I mean, really. I mean, it's good and bad. Because we only have 2 stores. If we had 15 stores, 10 stores, that'd have to be more of a cut.
Yeah.
Cut it. I'd have to bring it down. I couldn't let people jump all over the place because you don't know what's going on.
Right.
But it's okay. It's working okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Joys
It's
of
great, it's a
business.
cool experience, yeah. I always love these episodes too because I always get to learn a lot too. I'm just like, oh, that's a fun way of thinking of things. A little shared perspective. And, look, if it weren't for all that, I wouldn't be here. So I'm very grateful for all of this existing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a special experience coming here. That's for sure.
Yeah, what he said, right? What you said.
Oh,
He was talking about his career,
yeah.
So I guess it's starting to bubble a little bit. He tried all these different angles, right? And he goes, I never thought that being a grocery store would be my springboard. He goes, I never thought that.
Never say no to an opportunity,
no.
fellas.
No.
Lesson here today.
And look, I was inspired by Jungle before I knew him, and I'm very glad that I get to know him now to literally launch me into the stratosphere. So thank you,
Absolutely.
Jungle. I appreciate it.
No, it's good. It's
Yeah,
fun.
it is fun. Yeah, you're fun
I'm still,
too.
I'm still having a good time.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you're having
So
a good time.
when you hang him up then? When are you done?
Well, I was looking at some of the mistakes I made. And the steps coming up and down in my office, I made them 5 foot wide, steps. I should have made it like 7. Because then I could have had one of those little chairs. It's too tight. I wasn't thinking 50.
But I hear you're a fabricator.
Yeah, I wasn't
change
thinking 50
it.
years ago. I should have made a little room over there. You see those things advertised?
Oh, yeah.
But if you look at them, they're so damn slow.
Right.
I would go crazy.
I bet.
You see
Just
them
put a
when they
quicker
walk-
motor on
Yeah.
I need a...
Jungle will be upstairs in 12 minutes. we
it. You see-
just got to put a slide out of your office.
you know those little toy cars that kids drive around in? You ever see them put like a DeWalt battery, like a drill battery in those things? They just fly. That'd be you up your stairs.
That's a great idea. Little hot rod shopping cart. I love
power
that.
of conversation.
Segway, I fell off.
Yeah.
And then I used to have those skates.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
A long time ago, I skated around the store with skates. Then I went to the Segway, and
Yeah.
I fell a couple of times. I'm thinking, Segways are dangerous. I mean,
For sure.
They'll pick you up, and they'll take you. There's a lot of motor there, man.
Yeah.
You don't treat it right, you end up against the wall.
Right.
But a little tractor or something.
So what's your vehicle of choice now?
You may give me an idea. Maybe I could find a little tractor. I could ride around with a little tractor and
That would
say
be
hi
awesome.
to the kids.
A little ramp.
Is it a little ramp?
like to go upstairs. That's what I'm thinking.
I was thinking about a slide going down.
I would love that so much. Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't that be fun? I was thinking,
Yeah.
I was looking, actually at one time I had them designing one. So when you're up, you could just slide down, just.
I could just hear everyone upstairs watching this episode being like, this is an insurance nightmare. And I'm like, yeah, who cares? Put the slide in. Put the slide in, John.
I wouldn't put it past you guys.
No, this is good.
Yeah.
No, this is good.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate the business too, and I think you guys do a hell of a job.
No,
here.
you know what? It's and that's another thing what happens here. And what's is good for us. Tucker, you brought it up. We're small potatoes. But a lot of people don't understand this. These new kids and stuff, I hate to break their bubble. They look at their screen and they go to a bar, they're afraid to talk to somebody.
Right.
Airplane, you sit next to somebody for a 6-hour flight, don't say hi.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with these kids?
Right.
They don't understand. The world still evolves around people.
Right.
And, we contact people, we make relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I was down when I was buying produce one day. Kroger put a big order in for corn.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little nothing on the side of the road. I probably bought 15, 20 crates.
Right.
Okay? And I saw Kroger name on all these skids of corn, right? I looked at my salesman. I says, you're probably screwing my brains out. I says, he said, what do you mean? I says, what'd you charge me for corn? I think it was $7.50 a crate. $7.50 a crate. I said, yeah. He goes, okay, kid, you punk. That's what you punk kid. I want to show you something. Come on. And I'm never going to do this again. So he went through the papers and he had Kroger's order there.
Yeah.
He says, look at this, $8. I said, ooh. $8. I was $7.50. What I'm saying is relationships still mean a whole bunch.
Absolutely.
With this man here, we have a nice relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of customer we are when he looks at his big scheme of customers, but it's still about people. He enjoys coming here. He likes coming here, and we have a relationship.
Right.
People buy from who they know and trust, right?
And right. It's not all who you could have a really big, huge customer. He's a prick.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Right.
Who wants to do business? You do business with them because you need that account.
Sure.
But you're not going to go out of your way.
Right.
When it comes down to who gets cut, you're gonna cut the friend or the enemy, right? So
Even though it's big money, a lot of times it's just like his contact in Detroit.
Yeah.
Those guys, those grapes, everybody fights for those grapes, don't they? Everybody fights for them. What does he do? I don't know why he brings them to you. He probably gets them to you because he wants to get them out of Detroit. Because, that's another thing. If you're in a wholesale bid, if you don't have enough, you're supplying all these stores before you know it. Hey, how come Louis got those grapes? How come he's thinking in his mind he doesn't have enough of them. So what he does, he takes the 3 skids he has and ships them to us. And nobody in Detroit knows nothing. Oh, the grapes aren't coming. No, they're not coming.
truck broke down.
Truck broke down. I don't know. Hey, call me next time. You know? All right.
No, it's impressive stuff.
Thanks, Jungle.
Good on you, man.
Very much. Thank
Good
you.
work.
Good luck. Y'all leave you there for that.
Sounds good. I'm going to put it on the internet later for everyone. They'll love it.
Thank you. This is good.
Thanks, Jungle.
Put a slip in to get this table done.
Okay, we'll do. Yeah.
You get a guy like him coming in here, scratch up table.
I was
Great
actually
place.
chiseling it. He gives a little character. I'm a character. Thanks, Jungle. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Fantastic.
About our duck farm.
I did. I heard about
It's out.
The-
I can't wait. It's a
it.
great.
The latest
idea.
and greatest.
I can't wait. Yeah, of course. I couldn't believe you didn't already have one.
I got a new idea for us.
Oh, I hope it involves your slide. Oh my God!
Now it's
so-
going to be a water slide.
And now they know the duck farm. I'll mute his mic now. They know the duck farm's real. That's amazing. What we were through, Matt. That was so much fun. I know we covered a lot of ground, but is there anything what would you like to say to the people?
Yeah, no, I think from our standpoint, it's all about delivering that positive experience for the customer, right? And I think obviously we talked a lot about it today, and what we go through every day to try and get the best outcome out. Probably people don't realize it, but hopefully they experience that in our product, and that builds that moments of excitement, of happiness, of nostalgia. Bring them back into that homegrown tomato taste. That's the experience that we're trying to deliver.
Sure.
So that's the big idea behind this.
these episodes are always so great. And I think AJ can attest to this. But it's always great. This is when I start stealing.
I like
all
the
good
pepper
produce.
pocket too, by the way. That was
That
great.
was the funny. I'm like, of course.
Definitely was not planned either. Like, that's just raw.
He just was like, I got peppers with me. Let's go. I love this place so much. I just spent the week working on something overseas, and I was trying to explain. What's funny is some people knew about the store, but then like others who didn't. And I'm trying to explain this place,
Yeah,
and
how
I
do
feel
you
like
do
that
that,
clip sums him up so perfectly. I'm like, yeah, in the middle of the show, he just had peppers.
That's perfect, man.
I was
Jungle Jim.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, my job feels kind of magical, but it might be because a wizard signs my checks.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Funny story on the Wizard is legit. The first time I was here, there was this. We opened the business up, and we wanted to do a big display on peppers because we were a big pepper house.
Yeah.
As you can see with the pepper pocket, and I'm like, oh, am I going to get a chance to meet Jungle?
Yeah.
And he says, look over there, and I look behind me, and here he comes on a Segway in a wizard suit. I'm like, he's like, we're slashing prices. I'm like, Jesus, where am I right now? You know, not exactly what I was expecting walking into a grocery store, but I will never ever forget it.
See? That and he's right. You know, I kept thinking of the expression, "What's it? Your net worth is your network," right? Kind of a thing.
He's got a network, I'm sure.
I know. I just think about. I feel like in a weird pocket sometimes because I know I'm not
The pepper
young
pocket?
anymore. I mean, I'm living in a whole different pepper pocket right now. I always think I'm not young anymore, but I'm not old either. I'm in that weird space where it's just sort of like. I'm just watching the shifts around me of all of this stuff, and I find it so fascinating. And just, I don't know, I kind of lost my train of thought there. I got excited about the pepper pocket, to be honest.
Sorry, that was me.
No, please. I'm like, if you don't think that I'm going to have like a little citrus container in one of these shorts I wear this summer, you're out of your mind, you know?
Let's
AJ,
make
I'm
it
gonna need those.
let's make it a tomato pocket or something.
That's fine. Listen, whatever you want me to have, I will put in my pockets.
Perfect.
Yeah, give me one of those skinless Romas.
Yeah.
Matt, I can't wait for your next visit here.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I love this because I literally do after every one of these detailed produce episodes. I'm like, great, I'm going to eat my way through your entire line.
That's
It goes
also job security for
Yeah.
me. So keep it going.
You got at least one person in your corner at all times.
There
That's
we
me.
go.
Well, AJ probably first, but then I'm.
Well, and
there
I think
as well.
Jungle by the sounds of it. So there's
Yeah,
three.
for
I
sure.
mean, we're 4 for 4 in this room. So I think that's a pretty good odds.
I love it. Yeah. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Well, looking forward to your next visit too.
100%.
If you're serious, I feel confident Jungle will probably go too. But I mean, I will 110% go, and I would love to see.
Bring the crew. Lucky AJ.
Yeah.
You know, we'd love to have
I would love
you
that.
guys come down. We can bring you right in the greenhouse. Show firsthand that seeing is believing a lot of times.
I love that. Yes,
we'd love to have
please.
you down. Open visit for sure.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You can eat off the floor.
Oh, you know what's funny? I'm going to do that now. So in high school, I used to go up to Canada a lot, and I was spending a lot of time in Toronto, and I always joked then. I was like, this place is awesome. It's I spent a lot of my youth in New York City, so I was like comparing it to like New York, which is not the cleanest place I've ever been in my life, but I love it. But I remember getting on public transit in Toronto and just being like, you really could eat off the floor. You're like, everybody, it was so great.
When comparing to New York, probably.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I just kept thinking, so now that you've said that, I've been making this joke for 25 years. I have to do it. And I think I know
It would be the spot to do it.
Drop
for
those
sure.
strawberries on the ground for me,
100%,
baby. I'm ready.
man. There we go. We'll look forward to mid-December, 30 degrees outside. You can eat locally grown strawberries right off the floor of a greenhouse. Nothing like it, man.
That's so perfect. Oh my God. Thanks so much, man. I really
Very
appreciate
good.
it. Safe travels.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to meet everyone.
Of course. Well, on that, everyone, thanks so much for tuning into the show. I appreciate your support. Follow us on YouTube so you can watch along as well. I know you love your audio-only versions, but you can also listen to YouTube in the car, and then I'll stop asking you this over time. Again, thanks for tuning into the episode. In the meantime, I'll see you out there in the aisles.
The Jungle Gyms podcast is recorded in the WJJI studio inside Jungle Gyms International Market in Fairfield, Ohio. The Jungle Gyms podcast is produced and hosted by Mark Borison.